Peter Griffin is a lot of things. A total buffoon, a danger to society, a potential serial killer, you name it. But a good father, a good husband, a good friend? Maybe not so much. Or so you might think. You see, back in the early days of Family Guy, Peter was actually much nicer to people around him than in later seasons. I mean, sure, he was still a total moron, but he had his sweet moments too. Like, remember when he used to actually try being nice to Meg? I know, it sounds impossible, but it's true. In the season 2 episode, Let's Go to the Hop, all the parents start freaking out when a toad-licking epidemic takes over the local high school. Peter's solution? Go to the school undercover and try to find out where kids are finding these psychedelic toads. And surprise, surprise, his investigatory methods are, sus at best.
Hey, does anybody have any drugs? I'm looking to score some drugs.
But despite this, Peter manages to become one of the coolest kids at school. That's a big deal for Meg, who really struggles to get accepted. Although at first Peter's kind of hesitant to help her. Instead of taking his own daughter to the dance and giving her a popularity boost, Peter decides to go with some random high schooler instead. But you know what? When the time comes to get crowned prom king, Peter does Meg a solid by saying she was his first choice, even calling her his dream girl. Pretty cute moment between a father and daughter, right? But fast forward a few seasons and Peter barely even cares if she lives or dies. Basically, due to a case of mistaken identity, all of Quahog believes that Meg died in a tragic car accident, and Peter's reaction isn't exactly what I would call fatherly. He seems more interested in geeking out over their front row seats instead of mourning his daughter. Heck, even the picture they've put up there is of a barrel wearing Meg's beanie. Later on, when Lois is beside herself with grief, all Peter wants is for her to stop crying, and the same goes for when Brian starts expressing his sadness too.
Stop it, Brian. Stop your crying. Stop it. Please stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop crying. Stop crying. Stop crying.
Jeez, he can't even let other people mourn Meg's loss, let alone shed a tear for his own daughter. And when Meg bursts into the school gym to tell everyone she's actually alive, well, Peter's reaction once again is pretty damn cold.
Those are dark-soled shoes. She's wearing dark-soled shoes on the gym floor.
Clearly this is not the same Peter Griffin that we knew and loved in earlier seasons. And it's not just Meg either. There was a time when Peter would straight up freak out at the thought of losing Lois. This time around, Peter gets struck by lightning and dies. Now, death is never permanent in a world of Family Guy, but this experience does give Peter some perspective on life. Death takes Peter on a journey through his memories, including one of his first dates with Lois. He also watches the moment he came over to meet her dad, which nearly ended in him dying, by the way. Quagmire even tries to get Peter to pick up some girls at a bar, but all Peter can think about is Lois. With a few adjustments, of course. Eventually, Carter Pewterschmidt tries to offer Peter $1 million just to get him to leave Lois alone. But Peter refuses. This makes their love super powerful, which is pretty corny when you compare it to the man he has become later on. Peter asks Death to bring Peter Frampton to Quahog so he can serenade him and Lois with their favorite song. It's a pretty touching moment, and it really shows how much Peter cares about his wife. But in the later seasons, he seems desperate to cheat on her any chance he gets. Case in point, the season 11 episode Call Girl. It all starts when Lois accidentally ends up working at a phone sex line. No, for real, she thought she'd be doing voice acting, but the job actually turns out to be talking dirty to men over the phone. Now, Lois has to keep this new job a secret, but Peter's not the understanding type. He's just annoyed that she doesn't want to have sex with him every day. When he tells Quagmire and Joe about it at the Drunken Clam, Quagmire tells him to call that hot new phone sex chick he's been talking to. Peter has some misgivings, cause this is cheating after all. But in the end, he decides to think with his dong rather than his brain. But get this, the call girl Peter talks to is actually Lois. I can't imagine how awkward this must have been for her. But Peter's so focused on getting off that he doesn't even realize he's talking to his own wife. In fact, Peter gets so smitten with this call girl that he asks her to meet up, and Lois agrees. She wears a wig to hide her true identity, and Peter has no idea until she pulls the wig off. Clearly he had no issues with cheating on his wife. He's just mad that he got caught. Even if we look at his behavior with his friends, Peter's gone from being a stand-up guy to straight up scumbag. I mean, he cared enough about Quagmire to help him fake his own death. Okay, that might sound like bad Peter for a second there, but trust me, he was genuinely trying to help Quagmire out here. In the season 4 episode, I Take Thee, Quagmire, Glenn falls in love with a maid Peter hired for the week named Joan. Glenn acts like an absolute gentleman, taking Joan on a romantic beach date and everything. In fact, he's so smitten with her that he does this.
Joan, I've decided I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me?
Now we know this won't end well, because Quagmire's just not the kind of guy that settles down. And sure enough, he has this realization at the wedding of all places, mostly because Lois' breasts are swollen from trying to wean off Stewie. The sight of this is just too much for Quagmire to bear.
Giggity, giggity, God, I've made a terrible mistake!
Now, I get that Quagmire's being childish here, but Peter still decides to help his friend out. Namely by going to Quagmire's house and telling Joan that he's dead. Is this ethical? Nope. Is it a sign that Peter actually cares about Quagmire? Yeah, to be honest. But when we get to later seasons, well, he barely seems to flinch after killing Quagmire's cat. Yep, Quagmire found himself a stray cat who he named James. And let me tell you, he absolutely loves this little guy.
Watch when I scratch his bottom. He sticks his fanny in the air. We have liftoff.
Quagmire's so-called pals can't stand how this has changed their friend. Of course, so they decide to take James down a notch by shaving all of his fur. Trouble is, Peter has some very clumsy fingers.
Oh my God!
Peter, you killed it!
Well, you guys relax. He's got 8 more lives.
They hide the body, by the way, so poor old Quagmire just thinks his cat is missing. But when he comes over to Peter's place to talk about it, this is the response he gets.
I killed your cat.
Yeah, this new Peter's not winning any friendship awards anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'd like this one too.